Welcome to Overwhelmed to Overcomer podcast with coach, encourager, and strategist Anna McLaughlin. If you're a Christian woman who has big dreams rooted in an even bigger God, but most days those dreams feel completely out of reach, trust me, I get it. As a homeschooling mama of 4, entrepreneur, investor, and all around wearer of many hats, I am right there with you. And yet, the Lord invites us to live out our God given purpose now in the midst of the madness. So, let's explore together how we can know our calling and walk in it today with clarity, with courage, with each other. It's time for you to live the life you love and love the life you live. Let's do this thing.
Hello and welcome to this latest episode of Overwhelmed to Overcomer. I have Joy Johnson here. Joy, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. It's such an honor.
Will you tell us a little bit about who you are? Just tell us your life. We want to know everything.
Okay, just a little bit, right?
The short version.
Yes. Well, my name is Joy. Yes, it is. And oh my gosh, there's so much we can unpack about my name, but that will come. That will soon come. I
Okay.
am a wife. My husband and I just celebrated 14 years of marriage this year, and I have two amazing children. My daughter is 11, soon to be 12, and my son is 9, soon to be 10. And I love, love, love speaking life into women. I have my own podcast as well. So you can check me out there at the Journey to Becoming podcast. I believe that all of us, we are all women who are on our journey to becoming all that God has created us to be. And I also lead a private online community for women of faith that are seeking clarity, consistency, and community. And it's called the Joyful Fit Life. And this is where I help women develop, design, and discover a vision for their life with God at the center. And maybe you've heard of a vision board before, right? Those are cute and I love them. This is so different because we are in intentionally planning, and we know that God, his plans are greater than ours. So we submit our vision to him with open hands, with open palms. God, this is what I've designed, but align my desires with your desires. And so we plan in quarters and we focus on our faith, relationships, wellness, and contribution. So that is a little bit about me in a little nutshell.
Oh, I love it. When Joy and I first connected, I was like, this is like the cool aunt that comes in and talks to my people where you're like, what? This is amazing. I'm like, yeah, this is all the stuff I love, but now you're going to hear it in such a cool, amazing, fresh new way. So I'm just so excited to have you here, Joy. Thank you for being here.
Of course.
So, okay, when this conversation airs, we did the math, it's going to be the beginning of December, which is the time when I feel like our hair starts to singe at the edges a little bit and we start to feel like everything's spinning around us and we can't necessarily catch all the plates. Thanksgiving's behind us. We feel like we're on a fast track to Christmas. We know we want to abide and be present. And at the same time, there's so much to do. And you and I were talking just a little bit about this road to laying down doing in favor of being. Can you speak to that just a little bit? Like what does my listener who's sitting here and going, it's early December, I can't catch a breath, it's just going to get worse. What does she need to hear right now?
Yeah. One, you're not alone. I think a lot of the times we will begin to isolate ourselves, and even admitting that this is overwhelming, that it is too much. Because if we give in to that, then there's part of us that is like, oh, then I'm not being the best version of myself. I'm not being that best wife or mom or sister or friend, all these hats that we wear. And, uh, one of the things that I love sharing with women too is like, how often are we creating to-do list? Like probably
Mhm.
almost every day, whether that's a written in a post-it on your phone. I love the little notes in the iPhone. It has that little bubble, and I want
Yes.
to check off that bubble. And we make these lists, right? And your kids are probably making lists like, this is what I want for Christmas, and this is, all of these things. But have you ever created a to-be list? Right? Have you ever created a to-be list? And it's like, well, what in the world does that mean? Today, I'm going to be present,
Mhm.
right? I'm going to be intentional. I'm going to be a good listener. And it is so hard to do because it forces us to actually like sit down and to really think, because I'm sure that if we did it right now and I'm like, create your to-do list, you would have 15 things right off the bat, things that you've been
Mhm.
putting off maybe this entire year, honestly, right?
Mhm.
I got to do this. I got to do this. I got to do this. But you really sat down and I'm like, okay, now do a to be list. Well, I don't know. What does that mean?
Mhm.
And I think that, just going into scripture, one of the scriptures that screams just like emotional health is Matthew 11:28-30. And, we know this scripture as, come to me, all you who are weary, and I will give you rest, right? My yoke is easy, my burden is light. And there is a version that is my all-time favorite, and I'm gonna look it up right now because um Matthew 11:28-30. I believe it's in the Message version. And it says, here we go. I love, I don't know about you, Anna, but I love reading different versions of the scriptures. And like sometimes the words just jump out at me so differently.
It's like it becomes too familiar sometimes. And we
Yes.
need to hear it in different words to go, oh, wait, oh, now I see what it means. Or it just captures artfully in a different way when we read the different
Yes.
versions. I'm right there with you.
Yes. So this is in the Message version, and it says, "Are you tired, worn
Hmm.
out, burned out on religion? Come to me. Get away with me and you'll recover your life. I'll show you what it's like, or I'll show you how to take a real rest. Walk with me and work with me. Watch how I do it. Learn the unforced rhythms of grace. I won't lay anything heavy or ill fitting on you. Keep company with me, and you'll learn to live freely and lightly."
Mm.
Isn't that
Freely
just
and
so
lightly.
beautiful?
It's so beautiful. And say that again. Learn to live the unforced rhythms of
Rhythms of
grace.
Yes. 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 And I love how it's saying, come away with me. Like this is such an invitation in the midst. Okay, we're in December, right? And there's what is pulling you, what is distracting you, right? What's like, come
Mhm.
over here, come over here, come to this, come to this. And Jesus is just sitting there, and his invitation is so beautiful. And it's his voice is so calm. He's not screaming at you.
Yeah.
He's not yelling at you. He's
Mhm.
not tapping his foot, He's like, it's in the still small voice, it's in the gentle whisper, like, come away with me. Come
Mm.
be with me. And sometimes we're like, but God, but Jesus, I'm doing all this for you. He's like, but I want you to come be with me. There's a
Mhm.
difference. And
Yes.
it's also very hard to come to that realization.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so good. Well, and I think too, when you were talking about like, but I've got all this stuff to do, I was just thinking, we tend to view it as, well, once it's finished, I'll come. Once it's taken care of, I'll come. And it's interesting because when you talked about the to be list, I think if we sat down and did the exercise, we would find that the to be list, oftentimes the to do list is in conflict with it because we want to be like ticking it off the list. And I'm going to get like that project that's been waiting 7 months. Today's the day. This must be the day when it's going to happen. And it just feels so important. And we know we're going to feel disappointed if it doesn't get done. And then we'll put it on the list for tomorrow. Whereas if we look at the to be list, it's like, I want to feel present. I want to feel at rest. I want to feel calm. But we have to decide, are we going to live a life of doing versus being? Because if we're going to be first, we're going to have to submit the to-do list to that, even if it means some things don't get done.
Yes.
So talk to me about that. Like, what does it what because we were talking beforehand about Mary and Martha, about
Mhm.
Mary chose the better. What does that look like if we're really going to be overdoing? What do we do about that stuff that in our minds has to get done?
Mhm. I think we have, like, there's a level of surrender, there's a level of release that we have to, um, you know, I was just sharing with one of the women in my community. She's like, Joy, I have to wake up at 5 a.m. I have to wake up at 5 a.m. This is what I have to do. And sometimes, like it's like very like let's just talk about the 5 a.m. club, right? People are like, when did this become a club? I don't know. Like, have you heard of it? They're like, I want to join the
Yeah.
5 a.m. club. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
I don't know that this is a club. Whoever said this was a club, like this is another stressor, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Isn't that the whole thing of like millionaires wake up at 5 a.m. in a disproportionate amount or something like that? Like it came from somewhere where there's like a book that has to do with it. And
okay, yes, maybe
the
it was a book, the 5 a.m. club or something.
there's a the morning miracle or something. It's one of them. There's a bunch out there that basically said if you want to transform your life, you have to get up before 6. I was like, not, no.
Oh my gosh, that's like a whole other conversation. I love waking. I do wake up early. I probably do wake up at 5:15. And I love it, but it works for me. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like this is
Yeah.
not I'm trying to be the best version of myself, and I can do that in this season. Maybe in prior
Mhm.
seasons, right? My in early stages of motherhood, that was not on the table. Anyways, that's like sidetracked. Going back to your question,
Yeah.
what was your question again?
Well, no, you were talking about the woman that had to wake up at 5 a.m. I have to wake up at
Oh
5 a.m.
yeah.
And you were talking about sometimes there's a surrender. You have to lay
Right.
it down.
Okay. Yes. I started talking and got myself sidetracked. So,
I love it. But I
um,
hear it too. I love this though, because you're like, well, I wake up at 5 a.m., but I don't have to wake up at 5 a.m. I'm not governed by my choices. I'm choosing the best option for me in this current season. And if the season dictated otherwise, then that's what it looks like. Because yeah,
right.
actually, I used to wake up at 5 a.m. too. And like that was a great sweet season with the Lord when I was doing that. And then now's the season for more rest. And it's just, you know, it's that
Yeah.
open hands. It's that
Right.
open hands.
I think there definitely has to be there has to have a why behind what you're doing,
Hmm.
right? In order for it to be part of what you get to do, right? It's not like I have to do, I get to do, I want to do this. But when it comes out like, and this is for those that are listening, like I want to invite you to take inventory of where you are in your life, because a lot of the women that I get to encourage and speak life into, they know they're overwhelmed, but they don't even know what they're overwhelmed by because it's so much. They
Yeah.
know that something's off, but they don't understand that they're over functioning. And I think we were talking before,
Mm,
like this idea, you're like over functioning. What does that mean? That you're trying to be everything to everyone, that you're trying to do
yes.
everything on your own, and you can't. You
Hmm.
cannot do everything, but we want to. We want to be there. And what happens is this particular person was feeling some type of guilt
Yeah.
that, right? So, in order for her to pinpoint, okay, this is where I'm feeling guilty, which is causing me to say that I have to do this, which is causing me to uh, put pressure on myself, unnecessary pressure that may cause her to may or may not wake up. If she wakes up, she feels accomplished. If she doesn't, she feels like she's failed, right? And
Mhm.
it's like these overwhelming feelings that now govern her day.
You blew my mind a little bit because where I first heard about overfunctioning and underfunctioning was in Brene Brown's work, and she was talking about it in the context of grief and stress. She was talking about um, I think her mother was in the hospital, somebody was in the hospital, and she starts overfunctioning, and then her sisters were there with her and actually kind of like had a powwow off to the side and kind of came to her with an intervention of like, we can do all the things that you've just taken off your plate, or sorry, so she was like delegating, you do this, you do this, and then she started taking everything back on her plate herself, and they were like, we can do all the things that you gave us, you're just over functioning right now so you don't have to feel pain. And she broke down. And
Mm,
then you talked about guilt. So what's like, would you is overfunctioning a tool to manage deeper emotions? Is it sometimes that? Is it always that? Like that's what I'm wondering, is like, is there
yeah.
something underneath feeling unworthy, feeling guilt, feeling grief, feeling shame? Like
Yeah.
is it a masking tool?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's something that we can find our worth in when we
Yeah.
don't, you know. And actually if we can, I want to like go down this trail a little bit because you mentioned grief. And if I can just share a little bit about my testimony too. I lost my mom actually I'm so bad at math. What is 1991 minus 2025? Whatever, however many
Gosh,
years ago that is.
34 years.
Yeah. Okay,
Oh,
thank you.
joy.
On Christmas night, actually, she took her life. I was 6 years old, and uh, yeah, it was devastating as a little girl. And I say, my name is Joy, and I grew up with my name being Joy, but also having suffered such deep loss. And I remember like meeting, every time you meet someone or you hear your name, like I did not like my name. I
Yeah.
did not like it. And yes, I was a happy kid, but a happy girl, but like on the inside, right? There was so much trauma. And
Mhm.
although generational depression and suicide was actually in my family for generations. I also lost my brother to suicide um, right before my wedding. So about
Mm,
20, 26-ish, no, 20 years later, actually. Um, but going back to this, to over functioning, right? So there's a term and it's called transgenerational trauma. And what
mhm.
it means is although I did not succumb or have mental health issues in terms of the depression and the suicidal thoughts, suicidal ideation that took place in my family for generations, what took place was the unhealthy emotional patterns.
Yes.
And here, cue over functioning.
Yeah.
Oldest girl, oldest daughter,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Oh, I had to become a mom to my little brothers. I had a 3-year-old boy. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness, 3-year-old brother, and then my baby brother was 4 months old, and
Oh my
he was
gosh.
my baby. I was 6 years older, and
Yeah.
taking on that quote unquote quote role of a mom. That's something that I should never have wanted to step into, but here
Yeah.
comes the over functioning. It also came in people pleasing. It came in
Mhm.
creating a false narrative. And I have language for this because I want to share this resource with you. And I shared it with you earlier. This book is called The Emotionally Healthy Woman, and it's by
Mhm.
Jerry Scazzaro. And it literally changed my life. It's called, 8 things you need to quit to change your life. And she put into language like this book, like you're gonna read it because you're gonna get it because it's gonna
Yeah.
change your life.
Yeah.
You're gonna start to read it, and there's just light bulbs that are gonna go off.
Mhm.
Creating false narratives it had such a stronghold on me. And what that means is I would create false scenarios. Oh, this person's mad at me. Oh, they're not talking to me because of something that I did. And it weighed down on my emotions. What does that mean? I'm not feeling like I'm enough. I need to go do more. It's like
Yeah.
works based, which we can like tie this all up in a bow, which goes into Martha. I need to
Yeah.
work. I need to do, right, instead of
Mhm.
be. And so I know that my story is very, very unique in
Yeah.
suffering loss and trauma, but I know that and I know that the enemy is a punk, and he comes to still kill and just destroy.
Yeah.
So any way he can weasel his way into creating scenarios that are rooted in shame and guilt and all of these emotions, right, he will
Mhm.
do, and he will use it against us. And so being able to take like that inventory, right, and
Mhm.
understand, am I over functioning? Am
Yeah.
I creating a false narrative? And false narratives is like assuming I know why they're mad. I know why they didn't write me back. I
Mhm.
know why so and so gave me that dirty. Like you think
Mhm.
everything, like it's easy to make it all about you. And actually, that's like, it's also selfish.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like, can we talk about that?
Yeah.
And it's easier for you to believe this lie than to unlock the truth and be honest with someone. Hey, I wanna have this conversation with you. After this incident, I feel dot 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 some type of way. Is this
Mhm.
true for you?
Yeah.
And watch what
Yeah.
happens. But it
Mhm.
it takes a lot of courage, right? It takes a
Yeah.
lot of courage to be like, I'm gonna show up and be authentically myself right now and be a little bit vulnerable
Yeah.
to maybe experience some more freedom in my life.
Mhm. Yeah. I love that. I was in Al-Anon for a number of years, which is a 12-step program for family and friends of alcoholics. And I was in it for a lot of different reasons, but part of it was my own emotional health and well-being because I was an overfunctioner in the extreme. Um, and and one of the things that we would talk about, so Brene Brown now has the language, the story I'm telling myself, but we would kind of say, hey, can I share a vain imagining with you, a story that I'm making up in my head? And it helped kind of take the power out of whatever I was about to say, whatever we were, whatever whoever was sharing it was about to say, because it put the ownership back on me. I've made something up and I just need to check it with you. Because it assumes the best of the other person. I'm assuming this is probably all in my head, and I'm totally cool with that. There's
Yeah.
no blame or judgment on you. And so, and I think this is a beautiful time to talk about this because, man, do we have some stories when it comes to the holidays.
Oh yeah.
Some
Hello.
of them are true, like, yeah, you are a beast if you don't make the cranberry sauce exactly the way grandma did, like there's some of that in there that is just, maybe not so logical, but there's a lot that we make up that just piles on the burdens.
Mhm.
But I want to circle back to this because I think it's so profound, Joy, and I've not realized it until you and I have been talking, is that when we're in doing, I think at least what I know in myself is that when I'm in doing, when I'm in overfunctioning, I think that it's just reality. I have to do this because this stuff has to be done.
Mhm.
And then if I were to try to lay things down, then it's like, well, it doesn't feel possible. But I wonder if it's not worth just opening the possibility that perhaps the reason we are moving so very fast and we are so very busy is because we're afraid of the feelings that we'll have if we stop,
Oh yeah.
where it's like,
Mhm.
what if I just be? And all of a sudden, it's, I mean, I can tear up just thinking about it, just all the ordinary everyday losses in my own life of like, sad that my dad's not alive anymore to go and see for the holidays, sad that family relationships have changed and our old traditions aren't there anymore. And, those are very ordinary things that just come with the passage of time. But when I'm busy, I don't feel them. And when
Yeah.
I slow down and I sit and kind of, behold the Father, when I'm with the Father, all of a sudden those emotions are there. And it's less comfortable than like ticking the things off the list and being in this really active, productive behavior. But if we
Yeah.
don't feel those things, then we improperly, tell me if I've got it and tell me if you would add anything to this. It's kind of like we improperly color our activity, and that's when I start to get into the like, must be nice, must be nice, husband, to like sit and take a nap while I'm over here doing 16 different things. None of it needed to be done, but I decided it did. Today was the day that I was going to clean the baseboards, right?
Mhm.
Had to be done. And so then I get in that bitter kind of judgy space, and I'm not being, I'm doing. But why am I really doing? So I don't have to feel, you know.
Mhm.
So what else am I missing?
No, I agree, and I think that there's a it's painful. It can be painful at times because you're submitting you're you're opening yourself up, right? You're submitting yourself honestly, like I think when and in the context of like this verses came into my mind is like submitting ourselves as a living sacrifice, and
Oh,
it's
holy and pleasing to God. Isn't that what comes next? Oof.
like and it's like it is like it's like it can be emotional, and it's like um also you mentioned the phrase abiding, so then it takes my mind to John 15 in
Mhm.
pruning, and like what is I could get emotional right now, like what were we designed to do here? Like what is our
Mhm.
life? What is our life? Like it is all for God's glory. We are
Yes.
called, right? We are called to abide and remain in him because we know apart from him we can do nothing, right?
Mhm.
We know that the fruit that is produced, who eats it? We don't eat of the fruit. It
Mhm.
is for him, for his glory. And
Yes.
so if we are on this earth to steward what God has created us to be and who he's created us to be, we're gonna have to get cut. We're gonna have to be pruned. And it hurts.
Yeah.
God disciplines those he loves. And sitting with the pain of, okay, I've chosen to numb myself through over functioning, and not facing or not having that hard conversation, or not allowing God to cut on us. Like, we can sing these worship songs and we're like, we want to be refined through the fire. Like, do we really? Like, do we even know what we're singing or
Yeah.
saying? Like, you have these cute quotes, we have these, I don't want to say cute quotes, but we have these, like, scriptures that are, scripture cards or things around our house, and there's a difference between, I've heard it said like this, like, we have the language, but do we also have the lifestyle?
Yeah. That's right. Oh, I saw a great meme the other day that was like what people think the gospel is, and it showed the Tyrannosaurus Rex from Toy Story, like the dumpy little dopey one with the big smile, and then like what the gospel is really, and it's like the true T-Rex, just there's a I think I can land on this word. There's a violence in his grace of just like he will abide by no kind of pet little sins remaining. It's just that verse, I think it's in the Psalms, talks about um that he's the refiner of the gold, and that the way refining gold works, I always forget whether it's in the scripture itself that it talks about this, or if just from understanding the refiner's fire, that actually the way you refine gold is by turning up the heat, and then that's how the impurities bubble to the top and you skim them
Yeah.
off, and then
Yeah.
he knows it's pure. The refiner knows the gold is pure when you can see your face in it. And it's like that's how he works. And so, may we not miss these sometimes somewhat ordinary opportunities to be refined by him and to
Yeah.
sit in that place.
Mhm.
Okay.
Hey, Mama, let me ask you a question. When's the last time you gave yourself some white space? I am not talking about a trip to the bathroom alone or even the grocery store. When's the last time you had what I like to call some no one needs me time? For homeschooling entrepreneurs, time like this isn't a luxury. It's actually a key component to a healthy business, homeschool, and family life. So, if you're ready for your next respite, whether it's you by yourself, you and your spouse, or a family trip, join us at our peaceful haven, Just Like Paradise, located on gorgeous Oak Island, North Carolina. This 3-bedroom house is just a short walk to the ocean and nearby restaurants. It has a screened-in back porch with fireplace that is to die for, hot tub, and even a fire pit if you're feeling ambitious. Book through the link in the show notes, and then you have a unique discount code, podcast100, to get a $100 discount on your stay as a thank you for being one of my listeners. Get your next getaway on the calendar today.
So I know we've kind of been talking about, okay, getting our hearts ready and being overdoing. The deeper core and kind of one of your passions is this idea of emotional health. So can you zoom out for us just a little bit and talk about what does it mean to have emotional health, and how do we know that we're on the path to have it?
Yeah, I think, again, you have to take inventory. You have to know yourself, and uh if you don't journal yet, I'm not saying journaling is the only way, but it's been such a pivotal role, or it's been such a pivotal tool, I'll say that. And being able to get, I don't know if you're like me or anybody listening is like me, is like my brain is like 75,000 tabs open at the same time,
Yes,
right? And
right
like,
there.
have you ever had a conversation? I did this to my husband the other day. I'm like thinking of something, having a conversation with him, think of something else in my head, change the conversation here, and he's like, "Wait, you're talking about so and so and what we're
Oh,
gonna do," and like, those are like where my tabs. Have you ever done that before?
constantly. It's like
Oh,
every day for my husband. Oh
okay,
yeah.
good.
Oh yeah. He's
Okay,
like,
good.
wait. Different subject, different day, different year. You
Yes,
went from future to past, and
yes.
I can tell you how I got there, but you probably don't care.
So funny. Okay. So, journaling has helped me so much, brain dumping, however you want to say it, getting all of your thoughts on to paper and really understand like, okay, these emotions are this is what I used to say, this phrase that I used to tell myself, like, I feel bad. And what I was like trying to communicate, like I had so much, I felt so much like I'm a feeler, I'm a lover, I'm a
Mhm.
feeler. And I felt so much, I was not even giving myself permission to be my authentic self because I felt bad. I
Yeah.
felt bad because I didn't want to be honest with somebody. I felt bad because I would rather just take it all on myself instead of like having or creating boundaries, right? So
Yeah.
if you've not have not explored or have had to create a boundary with somebody that you love, with having an honest conversation, if that gets your emotions up into like such a frenzy where you're like, I want to hide and retreat, um if you're in a state of over functioning, creating false narratives, if you are feeling burnt out, and that can mean so many different things for so many people, but if you're like, I know, like this can't be it, this cannot be it, if you're
Mhm.
not experiencing the peace that surpasses all understanding, if you're waking up in the middle of the night and your mind is racing, or even in the morning your mind is racing and you're rethinking past conversations, and it's like taking over your mind, there may be emotionally unhealthy patterns. There may be
Mm.
something that you have to address. I remember when I was like in the middle of it, it would create a pit in my stomach.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
create and I was like, I knew I had to have a conversation, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do it. And then I would talk myself out of it. It's not that bad.
Mhm.
I can hang on for a little bit more. I could overfunction a little bit more. I can try to
Mhm.
be perfect,
Yep.
perfectionism, do all the things. I can
Yep.
wear all these hats for a little bit longer because I'm strong and I can do it,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
And I think this quote is, like God gives his strongest battles to his strongest warriors. I don't know. Is that a verse? I don't think that's a verse.
I don't think it's a verse. It is
It's
not
it's
anywhere.
no, it's not. But we can sometimes, like, have you ever heard that? It's like an
Yeah.
adage, right? An old adage, like, oh, if this is so heavy, it must be because you can carry it. Just because someone carries it doesn't mean that it's not heavy if they carry it
Mm.
well,
Yeah.
right? And so we have to know like who is our heavenly Father.
Yeah.
He is a good father. He gives good gifts. He invites us to take rest. He invites us to come away with him. And so
Mhm.
I think sometimes like in our in our Christian walk, we can we can um we can create our own like, well, it must be. This is so heavy, but God's like, did I even ask you to carry that?
Yeah.
Like, didn't I ask you to put that down at my feet and not take it back? And
Mhm.
like, we have free will, so it's your choice. It's
Yes.
your choice. Do you want to live in the same cycle month after month or year after year? Like, I lived in it for a long time.
Mhm. Same.
And I'm like, okay, if nothing changes, if nothing changes how you're going about your life, how you're functioning in your relationship with God, in your relationships at home, how you're functioning with your health, how you're
Yeah.
functioning in your workplace, or how you're contributing, if everything stayed the same, where would you be in 5 years?
Mhm.
And would you like that version of you?
I want to interject real quick. I want to extend an invitation. Pause the podcast and answer Joy's question. Okay? Just take a minute and pause it and answer the question. Where will you be in 5 years if nothing changes? I
And
hope
I,
you
I
did that.
really I pray that you pause it. I pray
Yeah.
that you pause it. And even if it's like you pause it and you go cry right now, that's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
You're crying in your car, that's okay.
Yeah.
You got to go in the bathroom and go cry. Like, please go cry.
Yeah.
Please get
Those
it
are like
out,
the two best places to cry, bathroom and car. Just go for it.
right? Um, uh, it's like I wish I could cry with you. I'll cry with you right now.
I
Like
know.
we're sending you the biggest virtual hug right now because
Yes.
if you cannot admit where you are,
Yeah.
then how can you move forward? And it's like I wish this was like live and we could see everybody that's going to be listening. This is where like
I
my
know.
my heart, um
Yeah.
my heart just goes out because I know because I've been there. Anna knows because she's been there. And there is so much beauty on the other side. If you're in the middle of it right now and you're like, but I just want to quit everything, I want to walk away from everything, I don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. God, I feel so far away from God because I have just shoved a to-do list in front of everything else, and I'm feeling guilty. We understand, and we're saying, pause, get it out, confess it, confront it, so then we can heal from it,
That's right.
right?
Mhm.
So these emotional, I want to share this too, because emotional health, and then you're like, but we're talking about mental health. Okay, emotional health is dealing more with the matters of the heart. Mental health is dealing more with the matters of the head. Okay, emotional health is the ability to cope with and regulate emotions. Can you regulate your emotions? Are you in a like a constant state of dysregulation? Mental health is more about thinking clearly. Okay. Mental health, or sorry, emotional health is the ability to foster positive relationships. Mental health can be the result of a trauma in that relationship, or even like a chemical imbalance. Okay. So when we're, and here's the greatest thing, God sees our heart. He sees our heart, right? He knows the desires of our heart. Out of the heart, the mouth speaks. So here's another telltale sign. What are you speaking? What's coming out of your heart? Out of the mouth, the heart speaks. When I was in these unhealthy emotional patterns, guess what I was doing? I was doing a lot of dumping on people. I wasn't speaking kindly to myself. And I definitely wasn't speaking with God as much as I should have. Right? So those are some like differentiating ways that, okay, mental health, am I thinking clearly? Is this a matter of my thoughts or my emotions? And guess what? You are fearfully and wonderfully made. You are made in the image of God. Do you know what he sees when he sees you? Right? And that comes with being with him, that comes with knowing his character, that comes with spending time with him, right? That comes with like, I know that my God is for me. I know that he fights my battles. I will fight from victory. And I know that this is hard, but guess what? He's with me. He will never leave
Yes.
you. He will never,
Mm.
ever, ever leave you. And, you know, going back to losing my mom when I was 6 years old, I'm so grateful for the foundation that my family had in Christ. And I think it was in when I was 6 in first grade, when I asked Jesus into my heart. And um, that trauma, the trauma was so much more in the emotional versus like I did not have, I was not angry or bitter towards my mom um, because of the way that it was explained, my dad. And I was in counseling as I was younger, but the way that it was explained, and I think like, of course, I have such a heart for, mental health and advocating for that. Um, they were like, your mommy was sick. She was sick. She had a chemical imbalance. Like it was, and she loved Jesus. She loved
Um,
Jesus. And it gave me such a compassion for her, instead of being like, my mom didn't love me and she left me, in that orphan spirit. I don't know that I have fear of like people leaving, but it wasn't an orphan spirit. It was more that emotional, like, then I'm gonna just keep going and I'm gonna prove it, right? And
mhm.
that's like God wants us, he doesn't require any of that. He wants us to come to him just as we are. And he wants to take those burdens. So
Yes.
I know
Oh, that's so good.
I
Oh. Okay, so we're gonna lay the thing down, aren't we?
lay it down.
And if you are so if whoever's listening is in this place of just like, okay, I had my big cry. I know that I'm carrying things I don't need to. I can see the bad fruit, that kind of, I mean, I know I'm out of order where I'm like, must be nice. Like that's my phrase for it every time. Must be nice. And so I mean, the strategy that I have is whatever I'm bitter about, I choose to go join. So when my husband is on the couch, I'm like, must be nice. I'm over here doing the dishes. I'll go sit on the couch with him, right? To just be like, that's a lie. I'm totally welcome to go. And thankfully I have a marriage where he's not like, don't you have dishes to do? He's like, hi,
Yeah.
you're here. I'm glad you're here. And it's like, it's a
He's
time
all
of connection.
finally.
I know, exactly. I've been resting for an hour. You were welcome to come anytime. And so for me, that's been one strategy is I join the thing that I'm bitter about. When there's play, when there's rest, when there's fun, to step out of that Martha spirit, I go and join it. And that to me, and then I'll be like, okay, that was nice. Like I do actually want to do the dishes, because sometimes it's like, that's actually what I want. I want a clean kitchen. That's going to feel lovely. But I had to lay down the bitterness and own the choice from a place of fullness instead. Sometimes it doesn't take long.
Mm.
But but what else would you offer, especially as we're looking at this place where it's like there are deeper emotions underneath, and then we're also in a season where the temptation is high to be in that frenetic activity, to be in that push, push, push. Interestingly enough, and I think this is no surprise with the enemy at play, it's like this is literally the season of Emmanuel, God with us. Like this is literally the season of prepare him room. Here he comes. This is his presence coming down to earth. And we're so busy that we miss the holiness. So what else? I've got my one strategy. What else can we do? Talking about doing, what else, how else can we strategically be in this season?
Yeah, I think it's something that I love this phrase, pre-decide. Pre-decide who you want to be.
Yeah.
Because if we wait till it's there, then it's too late and we're already overwhelmed. Um, what do you see for yourself in this season as
Yeah.
this year's coming to an end? What do you want to um what do you want to sit back and enjoy with your family? And like I want to touch on here, which kind of could be a little bit off topic, but even in terms of like budgeting,
Yes.
finances. And we talk about this all the time in the community because budgeting and money is something that can sometimes bring a lot of shame because, well, I wasn't taught that way. And what I share with the women in having a plan is like if you don't have a plan right now, right? Our society is complete overconsumption, right? And then what happens? You're left with this crazy debt that you have into the beginning of the year, and then you're feeling all frustrated. And
Yeah.
it's like, okay, go sit down with yourself, with your spouse. Like, we have a plan, and this is what we spend, and this is the limit. And if it includes sharing with family members too, and having like maybe some of the overwhelm and overfunctioning is because it's always at your house and you're always doing this and you're always doing that. And here's the other thing, it's caring about what people think.
Yeah.
But what would they think? Because I've always done it before. What would they think? Well, who cares?
Yeah.
Like, are you going to fall prey to other people's opinions of you and what they say?
Yeah.
Is your life going to be ruled going back to that 5 years? Where will you be in 5 years? Pre-decide, what does this Christmas look like for you? And that
Yeah.
can be such a simple conversation. And hey, we have some great financial goals going into this year and next year. And so I just wanted to touch base with Christmas. And is it okay to do a limit for the kids and no adults? And birthdays coming up, all of these things. Hey, I would love to be able to spend some quality time with you. For your birthday, I'd love to take you to lunch. I'd love to take you to coffee. You know what I mean? Instead of like, oh, we're going on this trip and it's $1,500 a couple and we're going to have to
Mm-hmm.
get a babysitter and all of these things. This is great to celebrate people, but you can't, like, you have to pre-decide. You
Yeah.
have to pre-decide for these things. It's like finances is huge as a year comes to an end.
Well, and I just want to invite anyone who needs this, and like myself too, when this comes out, I'm like, I'm going to come back and play this over. I love your tone. Like just rewind and listen back to Joy's tone of just how honoring and loving and light it was. It's no big deal. Here's where we are. Here's what works for us. And that's I bring her up a lot because she just has a way with words, but like Brene Brown talks about what's okay and what's not okay. Here's what's okay, here's what's not okay, and that's literally all boundaries are. Here's what's okay.
Right.
It's not a fight, it's not a weapon, it's not a wound, it's not some sort of like dig against someone else's way of living. This is what's okay for us this year, and we navigate this a lot in our family because I love giving presents. It's like the joy of my life. And like my brother's a doctor and we're a homeschool family, and so we live life a little bit differently, and they don't care. They don't care that we're not sending $100 gifts, and they don't either, because sending gifts isn't a value of theirs the way it is for me. And it was actually my sister-in-law that introduced the conversation of like, hey, we have a lot of people to buy for. Are you okay if it looks a little different this year? And it was just like lovely. It was very similar to your tone, Joy.
Mhm.
So yes, I love that. And that we would just I pre-decide to sit down ahead of time and really think. And I actually have, and I'll drop the link in the notes, I have a guide called Thrive Through the Holidays, because I actually hated Christmas in my high school years. My parents were divorced, and it was always like I would go back and forth between their houses 30 minutes each way. And like if there were multiple activities, I might be back and forth 3 times on Christmas Day. And it was miserable. Nobody asked me to do that. And I reached a point at the end of high school where I was like, I'm taking Christmas back. I was a believer already. And I was like, this is his holiday. This is my time with him. And bit by bit, just those single little changes can be so profound. And so the guide actually, really similar to all the things you're talking about, Joy. It's like, okay, what are the things we love? What are we going to toss this year? And then how do I want to feel this Christmas? And if I want to feel peaceful, if I want to feel joyful, I'm going to be behaving really different than if I want to feel like festive or playful or, just like party mode. Party mode's gonna hit real different than like contemplative. And we've got to decide as a family what's it gonna look like so that we can be fully present for the season.
Yeah, and I think too, like having this conversation like with your spouse, and because even though like we've been married for, 14 years, we've been together since high school, we grew up differently, right?
Yeah.
And celebrating things differently. And so it's a great conversation to whether your spouse or even including your kids, right? And like getting to have some of your own traditions. And I the littlest thing, you know what, one of like the littlest things that we do that our kids look forward to is, I don't remember what year we started doing it, it's maybe been like 5 or 6 years now, is Christmas morning when they wake up, we have like our hallway leads into the living room, right? And we just put up um we put up what is it, the wrapping paper, and
Oh,
we close it off, and so they have to like run through it. They run
I
through
love
it.
that.
And it's like the smallest little thing. And like my husband and I, we have to do it, and we got to leave. We have a little bulldog, so we have to leave enough room for him. And then like we like slide under it to get to, our rooms, but they can't go out, and like we're on the other side recording them, and they just burst through. And it is like, it is the joy on their face when they burst through. It's not when they see anything under the tree, it's bursting through, that wrapping paper. Did I say wallpaper? I don't know. Wrapping
I don't know.
paper.
I've been with you the whole time, so I
Okay.
heard I heard wrapping paper. I
It's
think
been
you got it.
bursting through, and I can't wait to go like looking back at the years. And then the other
Yes.
thing is the matching Christmas pajamas. My son loves, and he doesn't want just to match with his sister. He wants mom and dad. Like
Yes.
those are like those little things, right? And hello, got those for $5 uh before the rush. And you
Yes.
know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's the littlest things that they look forward to. And just all, of course, all the like the other traditions, and the stuff we do at church. And of course incorporating Jesus and reminding them like what it is all about, and certain books that we read every single year. But
Yes.
it's all those little things.
Oh, well, you know what I love, and someone might need this too, is we did the matching PJs for a couple of years, and I was like, we have 4 of our 6 birthdays in our family between Christmas and Valentine's Day. So I start planning like early November for all of this so that it doesn't feel crazy. And so but even buying the PJs in early November sometimes isn't early enough. And so we bought the matching set and they didn't come and they didn't come and they didn't come. And of course, I'm feeling some sort of certain way about it. And finally, I was like, I guess they're not going to be here. The kids were so disappointed. And so we decided to do a Walmart run on Christmas Eve. And everybody got to pick exactly what they wanted. And some things were oversized and some things had nothing to do with Christmas. And it's become the new tradition and everybody loves it. Like that's what they want to do is they want to all go to Walmart and they want to pick out exactly what each of them wants. And then we take the picture in front of the tree. And so I just want to encourage whoever needs it of like the plan B can become the new favorite. And
Mm-hmm.
there's something really sweet about that. But
Yeah, I love
I would
that.
be remiss, Joy. I knew I was forgetting something as you were talking. I think this is so worth saying because what I noticed as you were talking about like making these having the hard conversations, I zipped real quick. But anyway, we got to do this because this is so
Yeah.
good. When you were talking about having the hard conversations, I think this is the thing that we miss when we're in that habit of over functioning. We think if I don't have the hard conversation, the only one it hurts is me.
Mm.
But that's not so. Like, we are emotional beings. I just think about like the moment earlier in our conversation where we were saying, like, pause the record, pause the podcast, go and sit and have that moment. I could feel your heart. I could feel like, I know there's going to be someone who's having that moment and feeling us loving them through that hard moment of tears. Like, we can feel that connection, even though you and I are hundreds of miles away from each other. I don't, I, and then I know that the listener is going to hear that moment in the future. Like we can feel it. And so when we're operating out of shoulds and ought tos, we damage the love. Like we cannot love from that place of, when I'm in must be nice, I may not be fighting with my husband yet, but it's ready to happen if I don't check myself and go and get my heart in order. And so I think that the lie that we believe is, well, it only hurts me and I'm okay with that. And first of all, who are you to treat God's beloved in such a fashion? Let me just say that. You are his temple. You're his workmanship. You're his temple of the Holy Spirit. He indwells you. That is no small thing to be disparaging and wounding yourself by saying it doesn't matter if I'm suffering. But then beyond that, I think so often the thought is I don't want to hurt them. I don't want to wound them. And then the sad part is we actually end up doing exactly the thing that we don't want to do because we have not brought ourselves to the table. And so
Mm.
instead it's like I'm going to push it down. I'm just going to push the beach ball under the water. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. But we can't be heart to heart with someone else when we're in obligation.
So, so good. I did have a conversation with my pastors, and this was in the middle of all the feelings, and I didn't want to have this hard conversation. And I remember um he said there's you, right? There's a should and
Yeah.
right? It's like, should you do this? And we can, you know, go round and around. But after he's like, I want you to know, we're very close with our pastors. He said, we love you so much more now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we love you so much more now after having this conversation.
Mhm.
And like, I love to say that like honesty is such a gift that first you unlock it in yourself and then it unlocks in the person that you love and that you care for. And I've seen
Yes.
this in all of the relationships, and I've been able to be honest and have hard conversations. I've had to set and have conversations with my father in boundaries, right? And it could
Mhm.
be intimidating. And vice versa, right? And even like with my husband and all these things, like I need to be honest. And one of the things, like, i I know my husband loves me so much because of the honesty, the honest conversations that we have. I love you enough to tell you the truth.
Yes.
Do you love that person enough to tell them the truth?
Mhm.
and and to even, I think, like, when it comes, like, even like in a relationship, you know it's different coming to your pastors than coming to your spouse. Um, but in me being honest in the relationship with my pastors in that conversation, the freedom that I got to have and to walk away with, right? And the trust that was continuing to be developed was so special. In the relationship with my husband, right? There were levels of insecurity still within me
Yes.
that I had to heal from, and I had to share my honest, even if it like these were my feelings, right?
Yeah.
And it's like I know what I'm trying to say because I'm like kind of talking around it. When you can be honest and you can give that other person the gift of your honesty without I will only tell you and be honest with you if you react this way,
Yes.
right? Like I don't have the best words to put it in, but it's like I will be honest and I will accept your honest response and I will trust that even if it's not how I want this conversation to go. Because with my husband, it's led to like harder conversations
Hmm.
and even harder conversations. And I cannot place like my expectations on this person.
Hmm.
I cannot place how I want this conversation to go. And it really also like comes with a heart of like, God, prepare not just my heart, but prepare their heart to
Yes.
receive.
Yes. Yeah.
And it has to be at the right time too. Like there have been times where my husband's like comes and he's like, "We're gonna have this conversation." I'm like, "No, I am not. I am not ready. I don't have ears to hear right now.
Yeah.
I'm in mom mode. Like come
Yeah.
back. If we got to schedule it, let's schedule it."
Yep.
Because sometimes like if we're in our flesh, we work it up. Did you see that invitation? Did you say what they said? Did you see? And what are they thinking? Do they know what, da, 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 right? And then it can go
Hmm.
the wrong way. It can
Yep.
go the wrong way. And that goes again, emotions begin to rise.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's what I wanted to add.
Oh, that's so good. And just, yeah, taking that deep breath, taking that moment and recognizing, because it's not just who are you talking to, but what are the circumstances? Like, are we calm? Are the kids settled? Do we
Mhm.
really have like 20 minutes to pull the whole thing apart?
Yeah.
And like, our kids are at a point now where it's like, we'll go for a coffee date. Just, okay, let's just take a minute. And I
Mhm.
think too, it's so important to understand because, there are some conversations that I've had, and I think for all of us, where it didn't go the way that we wanted. And even resetting, all it did was reveal something about the relationship that showed, we were kind of holding up an end that wasn't being held up on the other side.
Mhm.
It's like, oh, we thought you wanted this level of closeness with us, but it looks like you don't care. And
Yeah.
that's really hard. But going back to where we were before, isn't it better to know?
It's so
Yeah.
much it's so much better to know.
Yeah.
And I love that you even like going back to that coffee date, like um having these hard conversations like with your spouse and then your children are there. It's knowing also when to say, we'll talk when we get home, or we'll
Yeah.
talk in, because
Yeah.
it is you know, they hear everything and they
Hear
can't
everything.
process everything, and
Hmm.
the garage is where we go, and
Yep.
it's okay. And we've had, you know what I mean? Like we've had
Hmm.
some little cry fest out in the garage on the floor, and I've heard this too, and this is so good. This is coming from just even on my husband's side in how he grew up in a house and how uh they there was anger issues,
Yeah.
right? And what he saw, and all of these things. We had a marriage conference and the guest pastors were talking about even your stance. Even your
Hmm.
stance. Are you standing over someone? Are you like what is your posture,
Wow.
right? And
Hmm.
oh, I'm gonna like cry. My husband and I had such a great, like such a hard conversation. We were going through such a difficult season. It was like last year. And there's thank you, Jesus, for being so faithful. And if you're in the middle of a storm and it's like you don't want to have these conversations, like I get it. But the best thing that we did was we went to the garage and he shared his heart and I shared my heart about what was taking place. And the posture that we were in, we were both
Mm.
laying down on our backs,
Oh,
or like you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
getting so low. Like, do you know what I mean? Like I
Yes.
know, like I know, I'm like keep taking this conversation different places.
It's so many good places, though. It's so
Um,
good, Joy.
but it's like, can you be like humble enough, like like the posture of our heart, the posture of like our physical bodies, and can you
Yes.
be humble enough to be like, I don't have to be right, I don't have to be over you, I don't have to be intimidating, I don't have to be agitating, but can I
Mm.
just come down? Can we come down to each other's level? Can we share our honest heart and emotions? Can we believe God for the same thing? Right? Husbands
Yes.
and wives, you're on the same team. There's unity.
Yes.
Can you come together in unity? Can you put your selfish desires aside? Can you put your I gotta be right and da 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 da? You know what I mean?
Hmm.
This
Yes.
like keeping a score. Can you put that all down for unity and seeing what God wants to do in and through your family? Even
Mm.
in, again, tying it back to the holidays. Maybe there's been some family drama. Maybe there's been some things. Pre-decide also. When are you going to leave? If it's getting heated, are you going to just take a step out?
Yeah. Yeah. Having a high sign of just like, okay, when one of us grabs a coat, that's it. We're
Yeah.
going, and agreeing
Yeah.
ahead of time. Oh, that's so
Mhm.
good. And two, one of our tricks to working through the hard moments has been knowing each other's love languages. And for me, especially, physical touch is one of mine. And I can, like, conflict for me feels like death. Like, I never saw it. Nobody fought, and then they got divorced. That was kind of our little, like, MO in our home. And so, even just trying to work through something at the beginning of our marriage, I'd be behind, we had a bathroom in our bedroom, of course, an ensuite. I'd be behind the bathroom door. Like, just everything in me wanted to run and bolt. I couldn't even be in the same room as my husband when we were working through and he's like, I'm not scary. Like he almost found it funny because he's like, what's the problem? We're just working through things. But he's a big dude and he can raise his voice and just, getting passionate about something. And I'd raise my voice right back. And he was like, I'd be like, stop yelling. He's like, you're yelling. Different though. But what we've both learned, and I had to, I had to be brave enough to tell him
Mhm.
because when we were in the middle of the argument, I'd be like turned away, back hunched, arms crossed. Nothing looked like give me a hug. And yet that was exactly what I wanted.
Mhm.
And so knowing that, it's like a little secret key is that if he can, and so now we're at a point in our marriage where I'll reach out to him in the middle of what I call fun marriage moments, which sometimes are nothing like fun at all. you know
Right.
and like I'll sit next to him, we'll hold hands. And so, and then for him, acts of service is his love language. So like if we're, it doesn't happen all that often, but if we're in something that's kind of like protracted, I'll get him a coffee while I'm out, get him his favorite coffee and just these, or I'll wash the dishes or, do whatever I can to serve as a way to keep my heart soft. But those
Mm.
little tricks that we can start to pull in to keep our hearts tender. And oh my gosh, I'll never forget what you said about lying on the garage floor. Like that's so precious of just how can we really exemplify with our bodies what we want in our marriage, this union, this humility, this groundedness, being upheld by the Lord literally as fully as possible. It's just beautiful. So,
Mhm.
and I love what you said too of like, what's the point, for us to not miss the opportunity to look at what the point of this whole thing is,
Yeah.
because whether it's like looking at the holidays again, whether it's whose house you're going to or what dishes you're preparing or how much money you're spending, ultimately the goal is more likely than not the same of wanting to build a strong and unified family and give your children the opportunity to see the love of God reflected through the two of you. And
Right.
so then those decisions of how and where and when and how much become much less significant because it's just semantics.
Right.
Oh.
Absolutely. Okay,
Mm.
last thing I want to share. I know we got to probably
Go.
land the plane.
I don't want to.
I know we could talk forever. So have you done the love languages quiz, right? You know that quiz?
Mhm.
Do you know that, have you seen the one for your children too?
No.
Yes. I'll send it to you, and if you
Yeah.
can include
Yeah,
it in
we'll
the
put
show
it in the
notes.
notes.
Yeah.
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 Oh,
So
that's so good.
that's been super cool too, just to
Yeah.
see, in, because you're shaping these little minds and these little
Um,
hearts.
Yep. Yep. I know one of my kids is physical touch, and I use it all the time with her
Mhm.
because she does exactly, bless her, she does exactly what I do. Turn away, get all prickly, and I'm like, come here, honey.
Yeah.
Give me a squeeze.
Right.
In my better moments, that's what I do. Okay, so we're going to feel our feelings. We're going to lay down overfunctioning. We're going to be overdue, and we're going to recognize that that might bring up some emotion, but we're safe. We're going to ask for what we need in a way that's kind and gentle by pre-deciding, right? That's our phrase. We're going to pre-decide and make him room this Christmas season.
Yes.
Awesome. So Joy, how can my people find you? Because they're going to want to connect with you.
Yes. Oh, I'd love to connect with you. So, I'll send you the links, but thejourneytobecomingpod.com, that is where you can find the podcast. If you want more information about the community and how you can join us on the inside there, would love to have you as well. And it's just been such an honor. Uh, if you're a regular listener, I hope you know how blessed you are to have Anna in your corner as a voice in your life, as a life-giving voice. I love the insight that you have, Anna, and like I think we started our podcast around the same time, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh,
Um, Still feel a little new to this, a year and a half, but
I know,
I
same.
yeah, I think like you're probably my favorite host ever.
Aw,
No, seriously, like I'm serious. I'm like, she's good. Like you're good. Yeah. So
thanks,
I've
girl.
loved this conversation so much.
Me
I
too.
love your heart for Jesus, and it just his love just oozes out of you. So
Thank you so much, Joy.
you're
Thanks for
welcome.
being here. This has just been such a pleasure. Oh, I knew it would be great. I was like, we don't even really need to talk before the podcast. We're ready to go.
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
glad we've gotten this time together. Thank you for serving my people so well.
Thank you for having me.
All right, we'll do it again.
Yes.
Okay. And friend, to you, I hope you take a moment to really sit in whatever came up for you. Don't let this moment pass, right? Really sit in the emotion, bring it before the Father. He knows what to do with all of it. Let it get a little messy. And know, as always, you've got this because He's got you.
Friend, thank you so much for listening to this most recent episode of Overwhelmed to Overcomer. So listen, the whole idea behind this mission is that when we endeavor to be brave with our lives, we need to do it together. Belonging is key. So if you resonated with the message from this episode, share it with a friend. Do it together. Thank you again, and never forget, you've got this because He's got you.